Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to fix when touchpad is not working on your Lenovo computer. So on your Lenovo laptop, if touchpad is not working, then please follow the steps shown in this video. Now, first of all, update Lenovo Keyboard Device from Device Manager. So make a right click on the Start menu and then click on Device Manager to open Device Manager. Now expand Keyboard. Once you expand Keyboard over here, if you find Lenovo Keyboard Device which has a yellow triangle over here, so if you see something like this, in my case I don't have it. So when you expand keyboard, if you see Lenovo Keyboard Device, make a right click on Lenovo Keyboard Device which has yellow triangle, make a right click and then click on Update Driver and then click on Browse My Computer for drivers and then click on Let me pick from a list of available drivers on my computer. Now over here you will find I2C HID device. Now I don't have it over here, but if you see I2C HID device, select it and then click on next, install it, restart your computer and then check the touchpad. That should fix the problem. Now if you don't find I2C HID device, in that case you can, in Google you can type in I2C HID device driver and you can download the driver from any website and then you can update your Lenovo keyboard device. Make a right click and then once you make a right click, so you have to actually browse the computer for drivers. So expand keyboard, make a right click, update, make a right click on Lenovo keyboard device. This is just an example. Update, browse my computer for drivers. Let me pick from a list of available drivers on my computer. Select I2C HID device and then click on next. Install it, restart your computer and then check the touchpad. Still you're facing the problem, then sometimes the touchpad is off and you don't know, so you can press F10 on the keyboard. So in the very top row of your keyboard you will see many function buttons, so press F10. That will actually toggle off or toggle on the touchpad. This will turn off or turn on the touchpad, so you can press F10 and then check. Next step is to start Microsoft keyboard filter. For this, type in services in Windows search box and then click on services. Now over here find Microsoft keyboard filter. In my case I don't have Microsoft keyboard filter over here. So if you have Microsoft keyboard filter, you can start it. So select it and then click on start the service or make a right click and then click on restart. So if this is not running, you can start the service. If you don't have Microsoft keyboard filter, you can move on to the next step. So if these steps are not working, or if you miss this, if you don't have Microsoft keyboard filter over here, in that case follow the rest of the steps shown in this video. Now the first step is to make sure that touchpad is enabled in your Windows settings. For this, go to the start menu, then click on settings to open Windows 11 settings, or you can make a right click on the start menu and then click on settings to open Windows 11 settings. Now go to Bluetooth and devices, click over here, scroll down. Over here you can see touchpad, click on touchpad and make sure touchpad is on over here. So if this is disabled, go ahead and turn it on. You can click on this down arrow and then also make sure this option is checked which says leave touchpad on when mouse is connected. So if you're connecting external mouse on your computer, now if this is unchecked, your touchpad will not work. So make sure this is checked over here and make sure touchpad is enabled over here. Also make sure that touchpad is enabled in device manager. So make a right click on the start menu, then click on device manager. Now you have to go ahead and expand human interface devices, expand it. In my case, the touchpad driver is this one, that is Synaptics TPF HID device. In your case, it might be some other device. The name of the device may be something different. In many computer, you will find when you expand human interface devices, you will see HID compliant touchpad. So it may be HID compliant touchpad or it may be some other name. So find your touchpad device and then make a right click on the touchpad device and then make sure this is enabled. Okay, so sometimes this is disabled, so when you make a right click, it will show enable device option. So if this is disabled, go ahead and enable it. So click on enable device and once this is enabled, you can go ahead and check your touchpad. Now in case if it's already enabled, in that case you can go ahead and disable it once and then enable your touchpad device once again. Sometimes simply disabling and enabling fixes the problem, so you can go ahead and try that. The next step is to reset touchpad. So again, open Windows 11 settings, go to Bluetooth and devices, click on touchpad, and then go ahead and click on the reset option over here. Click on reset, and after the reset you can go ahead and check your touchpad. The next step is to make sure touchpad is enabled in the system BIOS. So go ahead and shut down your computer. So if the computer is on, go ahead and shut down your computer first. Now once the computer is shut down, you can go ahead and start your computer. So press the power button, and as soon as you start the computer, you have to go ahead and keep on tapping the BIOS key on the keyboard. In my case, the BIOS key is F2. So as soon as you start the computer, keep on tapping the BIOS key, the F2 key on the keyboard. In your case, in your brand, it may be F8, F9, F10 or F11, whichever is taking you to the system BIOS. So start your computer, keep on tapping the BIOS key, and it will take you to the BIOS screen. Now once you're in the BIOS screen, you have to go ahead and search for touchpad option. So you can go to advanced or wherever you can find the touchpad. Go ahead and scroll down. Now over here, if you find your touchpad, you have to make sure that touchpad is enabled over here. In my system BIOS, touchpad option is not there. In your case, you might find touchpad, and make sure the touchpad is enabled in system BIOS. In your system BIOS, it may be in the name of Trackpoint or Trackpad. So it may be Trackpad, touchpad, or internal pointing devices. So make sure that touchpad is enabled in the BIOS. Now the next step is to uninstall your touchpad driver from device manager and then restart your computer, and it will go ahead and install the touchpad driver itself. So open device manager, make a right click on the start menu, then click on device manager, and then expand human interface devices, and you have to go ahead and find your touchpad device over here. In my case, it's Synaptics. In your case, it might be HID compliant touchpad. So just make a right click on the touchpad device and then click on uninstall device, then click on uninstall, and after you uninstall it, you go ahead and restart your computer. So I'm not doing it, but in your case you can go ahead and click on uninstall, and after the uninstall, go ahead and restart your computer. And during the system restart, the Windows will go ahead and download and install the default touchpad driver, and then you can go ahead and check your touchpad. The next step is to install a generic driver using device manager. So for this, again, open device manager, make a right click on device start menu, and then open device manager, expand human interface devices once again, and again make a right click on your touchpad device. So in my case, it's Synaptics. Again, in your case, it might be HID compliant touchpad. So make a right click, then click on update driver, and then click on browse my computer for drivers, and then click on let me pick from a list of available drivers on my computer, and then you have to go ahead and select the option. You can go ahead and try different touchpad driver over here. So in my case right now, Synaptics TPF HID device is selected. So if this is selected, go ahead and select HID compliant touchpad and then click on next, install it, then check your touchpad. Now in case HID compliant touchpad is selected over here, in that case you can go ahead and select HID compliant device, then click on next, install it, and then try it. So you can go ahead and try different touchpad driver, install it, click on next, it will go ahead and install it, then restart your computer, and then check your touchpad. The next step is to update touchpad driver. So again, make a right click on the device manager, start menu, and then open device manager, and then again expand your touchpad, expand human interface devices, make a right click on the touchpad, then click on update driver, then click on search automatically for drivers. Now if this does not work, after this is installed, you go ahead and check your touchpad. Still you're facing the problem. This time again make a right click on the touchpad device, then click on update driver. Again click on search automatically for drivers, and this time click on search for updated drivers on Windows Update, and this will go ahead and open Windows Update. Now if it finds any touchpad driver, go ahead and install it, restart your computer, and then check your touchpad. Now even after installing the touchpad driver from device manager, still you're facing the problem. In that case, you can go to your system manufacturer website and install the touchpad driver. So if you have a Dell computer, go to Dell website. If you have a HP computer, go to HP. If you have Lenovo, go to your Lenovo website. So make sure that you go to your system manufacturer website. I'm showing for Dell computer. So go ahead and select your model number. So make sure that you select your model number. This is just an example. So once you select your model number, you go to your drivers and download page. And once you're on drivers and download page, find touchpad driver. So here you can see Dell touchpad driver. Download it, install it, and after the installation, restart your computer and then check your touchpad. Now still you're facing the problem. In that case, you can go ahead and update the BIOS. So again, go to your system manufacturer website, and from there you can go ahead and select the BIOS and then download the BIOS file. And once the download is complete, you can go ahead and run the BIOS exe file and then install the latest BIOS on your computer. Now before you update your system BIOS, just make sure the battery on your computer is more than 10% and the AC adapter, the charger, is connected to your computer. So make sure charger is connected and the battery is more than 10% in case of laptop, and then you can run the exe file. And during the BIOS update, your system will restart. During the BIOS update, do not power off your computer because that will damage your computer. So let the BIOS update complete. Do not unplug the power cable, and after that you can go ahead and check your touchpad. Now still you're facing the problem. In that case, there might be some issue with your touchpad. There might be hardware issue with your touchpad. So you can go ahead and run a hardware test. If you find that there is something wrong with the hardware of touchpad, you can go ahead and contact your system manufacturer. You contact the technical support of your computer and they will help you to replace the touchpad. So one of the steps should definitely help you to get the touchpad working on your Windows 11. So that'll be all. Thank you so much for your time, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel.